Sei-san. Oh, Hiroku, come in. Oh, what's wrong? I'm a little bit shocked. You're a little bit shocked. Why are you shocked? The tree in front of my house. I thought it was a sakura, cherry tree, but it's actually a dogwood. You thought it was a cherry tree, but it's actually a dogwood. Well, when they bloom, they look a little bit the same. How do you know it's a dogwood? You can tell by the bark. Ukiyo-e woodblock prints were popular in the same Edo period in Japan as rakugo. And to the people in the Edo era, every single ukiyo-e woodblock print had its own story to tell. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a replica of the print we will be talking about today. I think it might be a little smaller than you might have expected, but it's wonderful in the details. And so, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us dive right into Katsura Sunshine's ukiyo-e woodblock prints and the stories they tell. Jinbei-san! Anybody home? Jinbei-san! Oh, I was wondering who it was. It's you, Bobby. Come on in. I have a very beautiful ukiyo-e woodblock print to show you. Oh. It looks like a boat. It's a boat, but this is an ukiyo-e woodblock print whose theme is cherry blossom viewing, when the blossoms are in full bloom.
This print shows a ferry boat crossing the Sumida River, flowing the east side of Edo across to the Asakusa district. Its artist, Utagawa Hiroshige, thoughtfully incorporated cherry blossom petals dancing in the air. Located right around a popular cherry blossom viewing spot, the scene depicts a flurry of petals dancing in the wind and a sophisticated lady on a crossing ferry boat around sunset. What story lies in this picture?
But wait a minute, Jimmy-san. There's some problems here. First of all, I don't see one sakura cherry tree. And second of all, there's only half a person. There's no viewing going on here, and there are no trees to view. Very good. Well observed. Actually, the beauty of these ukiyo-e woodblock prints lie in the details. Why don't we look a little bit more closely? What do you see? I see there are some cherry blossom petals floating around in the air over the river. Exactly. Oh, but where are these cherry blossom petals coming from? Well, that's a very good question. Let's look a little bit more closely. Here, if you look into the background, you see the Sensoji Temple, a very famous temple in Asakusa, in Edo, Tokyo, which still exists today. So the cherry blossom petals are floating down from the Sensoji Temple? No. If you look further into the background, you see the Azumabashi Bridge, and behind that, Mount Fuji. So the cherry blossom petals are floating down from the Azumabashi Bridge? No. So the cherry blossom petals are floating down from Mount Fuji? No. Jibe-san, where are these petals coming from? This is the thing about woodblock prints. Someone in the Edo period would have looked at this print and seen Sensoji and Azumabashi and the Mount Fuji and knew exactly where they were. And they would have known immediately that across the river on the left-hand side of the print, where you can't see it off the page, was the best cherry blossom viewing spot in all of Edo, Tokyo. Sakura tree. And the cherry blossoms in this print are blowing from east to west from that spot in Edo. I see. Jimmy-san, that's fascinating. You know, there's not one cherry tree, and yet people in the Edo period could have looked at this and seen Sensoji and Azumabashi and Fuji-san, and they would know exactly where these petals are coming from. I see. There's only one problem. What's the problem? Well, you said that the wind was blowing from east to west, but if you look closely here, there's a boat on the other side of the river. And if you see the way the sail is going, it looks like the wind is blowing the other way. Bobby, you are an excellent detective. Very good point. I have to tell you that this print may be artistic, but it is also scientific. Scientific? You just told me that the wind is blowing in two different directions, and you're saying that's scientific? Yes. Not only scientific, but meteorological. Meteorological? How can a woodblock print be meteorological? Let me explain. The sakura petals are floating from the back of the boat towards the front. A strong wind is blowing from east to west. This wind is called the spring storm wind and comes often when the sakura trees are in full bloom in Japan. The low pressure system goes in between two high pressure systems on land and over the Pacific Ocean. This is a typical pressure system and pressure pattern that causes the spring storm in Japan, both back in the Edo period and now today. This is what makes the sakura petals dance in the wind at the change of the seasons from spring to summer. Ha! Jime-san! That was beautiful. That was very poetic. But you're right, it was also scientific. And actually, that was also meteorological. Oh. I'm surprised you could say such a good speech under such high pressure. But Jime-san, who is that lady? You can only see half of her. Ah, there's a story here too, Bobby. Judging by the way she wears her hair in her kimono and in the decoration in her hair, she is probably a sophisticated lady. She is someone who is out to see and be seen in society. Her boat is heading for the flourishing Asakusa district, which was a big entertainment part of town in Edo, Tokyo. Maybe she worked at the Ryote, elegant Japanese restaurant, or a drinking place. Oh, so you can tell that much about her. You can tell even more. People in the Edo period would have known who she was. Oh, they would have known who she was, yes. And in fact, they would have been able to deduce that sitting across from her was a certain man, a wealthy patron, and this situation would have been immediately clear to everyone who saw the print. Ah, so you're saying that this print could have been a little bit scandalous. Well, I might not go as far as scandalous, but knowing these little inside details would have been part of the entertainment of looking at this print. Ha! Jime-san! Well, that's amazing. You know, each and every one of these prints really does have its own story to tell. I'm glad I have you to explain to me what these prints actually mean. You're glad you have me to explain to you what these prints actually mean. Why do you say that? Well, if it weren't for you, a cherry blossom viewing print with no trees would leave me stumped.
Today, near the Azumabashi Bridge, there are boat cruises that sail down the river to Tokyo Bay. In yakatabune or houseboats, people can enjoy a meal and drinks while viewing cherry blossoms in the spring or fireworks in the summer.